Hello and welcome to the Cynthia Nyamai Show. Now, today's guest was the women representative of Taita Taveta and now is in ministry and a gospel artist, proving that to be a leader, you do not need a title or a position. All you need is to influence and have an impact on people. Let's find out a little bit more about Joyce Lay. Thank you so much, Joyce Lay, for joining us today. Being a journalist, I already have like a one-liner. I would call it from parliament to the pulpit, or from politics to the pulpit.
Yeah.
Yours is an intriguing story that I have been following for so long, and also very inspiring. And I'm happy that today we'll get the details.
Exactly.
But let me take you back. You were a women representative of Taita Taveta, so
Yes.
that's where you grew up.
Yes.
Take us back to your early life, from early schooling to getting to where you are right now.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, and I'm glad to be in this show.
Yes.
And actually, congratulations.
Thank you.
When you started this show, at first I knew there's something in you that God has put in your heart that needs to be heard.
Yes.
Like the earlier discussion we've been having, God is waiting for a woman. A woman that's ready to be used.
Thank you.
And I really praise God for you taking time to seek the direction and to seek the purpose.
Yes.
So earlier when you were saying that I need to send you photos from when we were
your
younger
version.
There's a time actually I remember we asked Mom, how comes we don't have photos for when we were small children? And she laughed. My mom, let her soul rest in peace.
Yes.
She was a very like a comedian kind of.
Yeah.
Because when we asked that, she was like, you do you know how you were looking like when you were small? How could I even take a picture of that?
Yeah.
And we were like, Connie, how did we look? And she's like, there was nothing to take a picture. There was nothing good to take a picture of. And at some point she was like, I struggle to get food on the table for you guys to eat.
Yeah.
So there was no money to take photos around.
Yeah.
I was too busy, taking care of you.
Yes.
So Mom had 12 children in total.
Wow.
Some of them passed away. Some of them we met. Some of them we did not meet.
Yes.
And right now we are 8. So growing up, we were like 10 of us growing up in a small house, small village, a village called Mariwenyi. That's where I grew up.
Yes.
I grew up in Taita Taveta, schooled in Taita Taveta throughout.
Yes.
And then I came to Nairobi in 1998. So being in a very humble setup, struggles like normal other families, going to school like, hungry with empty stomach because there's nothing to eat.
Yes.
And, doing like everything yourself, going to the river to fetch water, go and gather firewood over the weekend. So that was our life, throughout.
Yes.
And I really thank God because that's the background and the foundation that God gave us.
Yes.
Little did we know that there was a greater future for all of us in the family. Because struggling, like we are 3 girls. Like we used to sleep in one bed, the 3 of us together, fighting for the blanket at night because it was only one. So it was an interesting life, and looking back, I really thank God because it's true. It's a story from grass to grace. Yes.
And did your mom bring you up alone?
Yes, she did.
Yes.
Most of the time she did. We never used to see our dad. Our dad was then an administration police. So he used to work, outside our village, several towns, and sometimes he can take even like 5 months without seeing him. So everything else, it was Mom took care of us. Mom took all the burden. It was just amazing seeing the strength of a woman in real. Not that you are hearing from somebody else. I saw it in my mom. And also that gave me the spirit of resilience. Like it doesn't matter what it is that you are going through or what situation you are in, like you keep on going, having hope that tomorrow will be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And were you always dreaming of eventually moving to Nairobi?
I had big dreams.
Yes.
I had big dreams, and most of them have come to pass.
Yes. Wow.
I remember growing up with the rest of my siblings. I used to tell them, you know what, one day I'll build my mom a very nice house.
Yes.
We're going to move out from this house. In fact, I will bring it down after we build a nice house for her. And that dream came to pass.
Wow.
I remember when I was meeting my husband during the dowry negotiation, my mom said, I don't want to be paid money.
Yes.
I want you guys to build me a house.
Yes.
So my husband was like, a house that's going to be very expensive. But you see, because it's local village materials are available and all that. So we built a very nice house for her.
Yes.
And the old house, I had to bring it down because I was like, I'm not going back there again. I don't want to see that picture again. And so
you realized your dream.
Big dreams.
Yes. What other dreams have you realized?
Other dreams, actually, it's like every stage that I've been in life, I always feel like there's a better tomorrow. And there's something that keeps on pushing me inside, like keep on going, because tomorrow is going to be better. So that strength inside me is what like made me to where I am right now. Because there are so many setbacks, so many things that will pull me back, so many things that will make me feel like, oh, the village, this is where I'm going to be, and this is it. But then every time I felt like, you know, there's something ahead, and I push myself forward. And I remember in school, when I was in Form 2, I was picked as the head girl of the school. And on those days, we had big boys and big girls, and I'm this skinny, tiny girl being a head girl. And I was like, what? So I think then that's when the leadership position was, you know, like coming out. But then I didn't know that I will come to a position where I'd actually like lead the people of Taita Taveta. To me, that was, you know, God's doing. And it has nothing to do with me as a person. I believe that everybody who is here on earth is here for a certain purpose.
That's true.
And before we were born, God already knew. This is the person that I'm going to use for, you know, for my glory. And everything else that has happened, I always give glory to God. Because I'm like, this is not me. I'm not even worth it. I don't even deserve to have such a position. But you know, with God, when God holds your hand, there is no platform that you cannot step on.
I think one of the stories that I've read about you that surprised me, that as a leader, you opened up about a challenging time in your life when you were trying to get a child. And I was wondering, as I read that story, why were you so open about it, especially where in Africa we do not talk about it, and you decided to even take a different option that is still new in Africa?
I had to do that because immediately when I had decided that I want a child, and it has to be done through IVF, it has to be done through a surrogate mother. That was the same time that I was going into politics. So I'd already even started campaigning, and you see, people have seen me with no pregnancy. Then all of a sudden you have a child. People will start asking questions. So I was like, I'd rather tell my story. Because if you don't tell your story,
people
you yourself
will tell it for you in a different version.
In a different version. So now I was like, because I'm going to be a leader, I have to be open. I have to tell my story. And I remember my first interview was with Edith Kimani.
I remember.
So she visited us, and that was the first time I aired that story about surrogacy. And it was quite both challenging and exciting moment. Challenging in a way that as a woman, after all the, you know, the complications that I went through, and to find out that you cannot conceive naturally, you cannot carry your own child, because at some point my uterus had to be removed. And during that time, it was very difficult for me. Of course, for my husband too, because I kept on putting pressure that I want a child. And her coming from a previous marriage before, he already had children. So he kept on saying, but we have children. Why do you need a child? But you see, a woman, you want a child of your own. You want somebody that, you know, later on you can actually say, you know, there's somebody who can take care of me when I'm old. You know? And then came friends. It's just an amazing thing. Friends like volunteering and saying, we're ready to do this for you. We're ready to carry the child for you. And to me, it was just amazing that there are some people on earth, maybe they're just angels. They're sent to your path and to your life. So we did all that. And my son now is 10 years old.
Wow.
And it is amazing. So the reason why I came out open, even when I was in Parliament, it's because it's not regulated. We have so many IVF clinics in the country, but then we don't have regulations towards the same. So each clinic, if it's time, if it's about you know, pricing and everything else, they just do it on, you know, on their own. And then it's also very expensive for a normal couple. Like
it costs more than $10,000 at the list.
It does. So the reason why we also had a bill in Parliament with Honorable Millie Odhiambo is to make sure that if this is the technology that's helping people who can't conceive naturally, so can we have it regulated, and can we have it, you know, affordable for other people, and accessibility also, like with hospitals in the counties and in the villages. Can someone walk to a, you know, infertility clinic and then they get assisted right there without coming to Nairobi or any other bigger towns? So I had to tell my story my own way.
And did you get backlash? You know, we still don't have a playbook for women in politics because it's still new, especially here in Africa. So did people later on come and say, you're not supposed to do that as a leader, you shouldn't open up and share your most vulnerable time in your life?
Actually, the backlash I got at some point, it was not from talking about my story. It was when now I'm in politics, now I'm campaigning against other women. You know, so some of them would come up and say, why are we voting for somebody who hasn't, you know, gone through the pain of labor, the pain of, you know, giving birth? So on the other side of opening up about my story, I didn't get any backlash. It was surprising for other people that actually the surrogacy that can happen within the country, and also the IVF, because that technology is a very, you know, high-tech technology. So we even got some more people who were interested, and they came to ask, you know, how can I go about it? And during that period, we helped a lot of couples, you know, just taking them through the process and for them to understand how it's done.
And shortly after that, you decided to run for political office.
Yes, I did.
Why did you make that career choice then?
So, like I said, sometimes your steps are ordered by God. It started when my husband had decided. We had gone, you know, to visit my brother in Wundanyi. And when he got there, he was like, this place is beautiful. This is where we're going to build our retirement home. I'm like, no way.
Wundanyi is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
The
but
hills.
for me, coming from Taita, grew up in Taita, I'm like, my dreams were like to own a beach house, you know, go and live in Mombasa or something. So when he said we're going to build a house in Wundanyi, at some point I had to find my own peace. So I told God, if you're bringing me here, then let it be with a purpose and for a reason. Because this is where I grew up, and there must be a reason why you're bringing me back here. So when we built our house, we started like doing community projects. It is the community projects that caused the people now to start pushing me to go into politics. There was no time that I ever dreamt that one time I'll be in politics. There's a big project that we had done with the dairy farmers in Taita Taveta. And we brought it to a level where, you know, it was sustainable. They could pay their own fees for their children. They could have medical cover. It was just amazing. So it's through that now people started pushing me to go into politics. And when the voices were many, I sat down, I was like, why not? I can do this.
I want to find out a little bit more about the challenges that you faced as a woman. But we need to take a short break. And when we come back, we find out more about how she even moved from politics into the pulpit. That is coming up shortly. Welcome back to the Cynthia Nyamai Show. We've been talking to Joyce Lay and her story. She calls it From Grass to Grace. I call it From Politics to the pulpit because of even your ministry in music.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, so you decide to run for office, political office. What are some of the things that surprised you about women in politics?
First of all, you know, the moment like you're living your life, you're not even thinking about going into politics.
Yes.
Everybody's your friend.
Yeah.
You know, everybody talk nice about you.
Yes.
And everyone wants to be with you and just normal life. But the moment you declare that you want to run for office, there's so much that women go through. Yeah. And I always feel like, you know, men just have it so easy. Yes. Because for women, they start looking at you from your you know, your toes, to your head,
to what you're
what
wearing,
kind of hairstyle you're having. I remember my first meeting. I had a very nice gold anklet. Yeah, and the meeting I went, the women were like, I can say it in Kiswahili. Sasa huyu amevaa hizi nini za miguu. Atakuwaje kiongozi? You know. So I remember I had to remove it in that meeting, and I lost it. Since then, I didn't even know where I kept it. So they start, you know, this scrutinization that goes in. I think it's too much, by the way. Because it's not my face that's coming, you know, to lead.
Or your anklet.
It's not my anklet. It's not my hair. It's not whom I'm married to. Because it went to that extent. Oh, this one is married to a Mzungu.
A foreigner.
So why can, you know, why can't we get somebody who is from within, married within? What if one day she just decides she'll like take the plane and leave? You know, there's so many issues like that. And him also being a white. I mean, there were issues like how did he meet? You know, where were they? Clubbing or stuff like that. Exactly. So there's so many challenges that women go through. And if we could leave those petty, because to me they're very petty. If we could leave them aside, we'll definitely have a woman president right now. But the issue is the same women that we are expecting them to hold our hands, to support us, and to even guide us are the same people that will be used to tear you apart. And apart from other financial challenges, because, you know, men come into politics when they're already set. They have their money. But as for women, it's the first time we're going into politics. First time you're trying out everything. So financial challenge was also the biggest challenges that I faced.
And it's also easier for men because when they're fundraising, it's easier for them to call their colleagues. Very true. And they control the money and our economy in many ways. So it's easier for them to call their boys, let's raise money, and as compared to women.
I know. So financial challenge was another challenge. Cyberbullying is another challenge. And you know, it's bigger for women. It's tiny for men, but it's so wide. These people keep on talking about, you know, African values. I keep on saying, who wrote these African values? And how comes they were wrote for only women?
Exactly, and they keep on changing.
Exactly. Was it to put the women down? Was it to make sure that the women never raise their heads and never, you know, like take leadership position? Because every time, you know, the way you're dressed, oh, that's not African values. That's not, you know, and we like, you know what, let's move from those petty issues. Let us look at, you know, issue-based politics. If you're coming in as a leader, let's look at your vision, your ideologies, you know, how you're dressed, whom you're married to, whom you're sleeping with at night. It does not matter. That's true. Really, it doesn't matter. So those are some of the challenges that I faced. And I remember, because I normally have my small body just like it is right now. So then people are like, no, she's too small. You know, this is a women position. We need big women. I literally had to put on weight. You should look at my photo. Maybe those are part of the photos that I was sending during my first campaign. I was so chubby. Like I had to look like Kimama, like mama.
Really?
Mama.
So that's a real representation of women.
I guess people did not really understand that position because affirmative action was to give a platform for women to come in, you know, learn the how-abouts of, you know, politics, get to have the confidence that maybe we don't have out there, so that now we can grow ranks, you know. And people thought now we were coming to represent only the women. So you have to look like the women themselves, you know, funga kitambara, put on long dresses and all that. So I thank God because things are changing right now. I took a lot of time to do civic education the moment I got elected for them to understand what this office is about. And all that is because there was a lot of expectation coming in leadership as a woman. People expect a lot from you. First of all, you have to sympathize with their situation because you're a woman. So when somebody comes to you asking for money, for help, you're a woman. So you need to give out that money, you know. So there was a lot of expectation. And people like, oh, now maybe we'll have our roads, we'll have water. But then when we got in, you find out that this is not the work that is, you know, anchored on your position.
And what are some of the things that you are proudest of that you achieved when you were the woman representative of Taita Taveta?
I can say in Parliament side, in terms of legislation, actually I learned very fast. I picked up very fast, especially being behind the shadows of Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Actually, she's like the person who was like motivating me, you know, guiding me and teaching me stuff. And on that side, I picked up so well. I remember I even got an award, Mzalendo Award, you know, from the most promising legislator in the House, because immediately I had motions that I'd brought to Parliament. My first motion that passed very well was appealing to the government to start translation of our laws into Kiswahili, especially very important laws like marriage law, because marriage is about everybody, even those who didn't go to school. We have beautiful laws, but most of the people do not understand the laws that are there for them, especially the women, the mama mbogas, you know, and the children law. Everybody needs to understand what is there. And also we don't have an official Kiswahili constitution. The one that we had before was a draft during the campaign, but officially we do not have Swahili constitution. So I pushed for that, and also at the National Assembly to have like standing orders translated into Kiswahili, you know, the order of the business, or one day to have a day that all the debate is in Kiswahili, because our Kiswahili is our first language. We have to be proud of it. So that motion passed. It passed very well. And before I left Parliament, I drafted now a bill towards the same, where now I wanted it to go, you know, deeper, not just in Parliament, but also in other areas of, you know, let's say government offices, even corporate. Because, you know, there's some people, let's say, for example, the prisoners. Some people who went to prison because they could not understand that there's a law that I'm not supposed to break. Maybe it's in English and that person did not even understand. Maybe the first time he heard or she heard about that law is when he or she was being sentenced. You know, you broke this and this law. And like, how comes it wasn't you know, made known to me? Otherwise, I would not have broken that law. So I'm proud of that, stage. And other things that I'd proposed, what we're doing right now, the CBC, I'm the one who had proposed that bill in Parliament. I remember even did the presentation before the CS and the PS and all the education stakeholder. And it is exactly what they are doing right now. Apart from mine in the bill, it had requested for 7 years transition. What they're doing right now, I see them rushing everything that it has to happen now, but it cannot happen now because we don't have the equality in education in terms of infrastructure. Because CBC calls for a lot of infrastructure to be improved, schools to be maybe rebuilt in a different way, because it's about skills. It's about training kids on skills. So if we don't have equipped schools, how do we train the skills? How do we bring out those skills? So I'm praying that the team behind it know exactly what they're doing, and they will capture all this. Recently we saw even photos when it rains. I mean, students are in a mud class and it's so muddy that even their shoes are muddy, or even getting to school is a problem. So those are things that we needed to deal with first before even we bring out in the new curriculum. And also training of the teachers, because this is something new. So I'm not sure if the training has been done extensively for the teachers to understand what they're supposed to do. Even the parents, they were supposed to be brought on board. So now they understand now their new assignment under the CBC. Another bill that I'd proposed, so to finish on that, when we did the presentation, the CS said we cannot go with the Parliament Act way. They wanted now to change the curriculum so that now they can come with a policy and all that. So that one was not debated in Parliament. Another one that I'd proposed that was still a draft before I left is on domestic workers bill. And domestic workers, I was more focusing on the local domestic workers, because most of the time, yes, we complain about the international domestic workers, but then have we dealt with the same issue in our own country? Because this is the largest employment sector that has not been regulated. Some of the house helps, I mean, the stuff that they go through, it's just, you know, a pity. Some of them don't have good places to sleep. They're not given offs and leaves, and, you know, even for their medical, their welfare, for example. And it's so sad. And this was covering not just the people who work in the house, but the askaris, you know, the gardeners and everybody else. So my aim was to regulate this sector and to make sure that the people who are working in homes are taken care of. Their rights are taken care of, you know. That one we took it to, because it's a stage. Every time you want to bring a bill, it is a long stage before it becomes an act. So I left it at the committee level, the committee that's in charge of labor and all that.
I once read an article where you said that later on you had been approached for a position as deputy governor. But you said you were not interested. And also in the interview, it said that you felt betrayed, that something happened and you felt like you don't want to be in politics because you were betrayed. What had happened?
In politics, comparing to where I am right now, what you're calling pulpit. You know, honesty is number one. I'm a very honest person. I speak the truth. I speak the way it is, and you know, I don't sugarcoat. And you find that the moment you, like when I say the moment you're mentioned for a certain position, your close friends become your enemies. So to me, that was like, why should we go through this in order for us to be in leadership position? Because leadership, like we keep on saying, it's given by God. But then if I have to stab you, for me to get to where I want to be. You know, sometimes we say we support women, but then we are choosy at how we are supporting these women. So on one side, I'm supporting Cynthia. On the other side, I'm stepping on Joanne. I'm stabbing her. I'm making sure that she does not rise. So there's no honesty in there. There's no like true love. Because that's what the Bible calls, you know, us to make sure that we have that true love.
And do you think it's possible to be in politics and have integrity, or even be born again? Is it possible?
It is possible. It is possible. And actually, this brings in a different topic where the church has to start talking about leadership positions. Because we are the ones who are supposed to take over, you know, to be in charge until when Jesus comes back. And the same Bible says, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. So the righteous person, first of all, is the one who confesses Jesus as their Lord and Savior, the one who has a relationship with God. So if we are the ones in charge, definitely, if I'm in charge of public funds, and here I worship God, definitely I cannot say that I'm keeping this money for myself, and yet I fear God. That one cannot happen.
But you've gone through campaigns. Do you think if someone actually went out and spoke the way you're speaking, instead of going out and dishing money and telling people we're going to take so and so down, that you would actually have a chance to win an election?
I wish I could send you some of my campaign messages. In some places, people used to say, "Are you preaching?" You know, you sound like you're preaching, because when you're speaking the truth is what is closer to God. And I'd go down even like giving them a breakdown.
Yes.
Do you know, if I come here and ask you for a vote and you ask me for money, that's a transaction.
Yes.
And then I tell them, now calculate what I've given you to the 5 years that I'll be in Parliament and the salary that I'll be earning, and see how little you know, you spend to sell your soul, because you're selling your life, you're selling your future, you're selling your children's future for a small amount of money that you're going to eat now. You know, not even tomorrow. It won't even last. So on that side, I used to tell people the truth. I'm not here because I'm carrying bags of money. I'm here because we need to change the narrative. We need to change how we look at leadership. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
And now that you're not in active politics and you got into it to serve the people, how are you serving them?
I'm going to be the voice of the voiceless, the voice of the poor, the voice of the orphans, the voice of the widows, in general, the voice of the people. So I'm not going to be quiet, because being in leadership, I have enough experience to know what a leader is supposed to be. I'm going to push on accountability. I'm going to push on people involvement and engagement in leadership, so that the vacuum that we normally have between a leader and a voter, we need to gap, you need to bring it, you know, to a level where we work together. Because as a leader, when you are picked to lead the people, how can you work alone? And yet it's the people who brought you on board. But because of lack of platforms that we need to create as a government to make sure now there's involvement, there's engagement from, let's say, even from everything else that's being discussed at the county assembly. Before it gets there, can it start from the people? Can the voice of the people be heard? And the only way that their voices can be heard is when we give them an opportunity to gain information and to gain knowledge. That way now they can sit and even question and ask, you know, if you're in charge of our money, how much money has come into our county? How much money is going into such and such development projects? And how can we be in charge of our development? Because what I foresee in the future, and this is the reason why the second time I ran for Senate, because I wanted to see how can the people be benefiting from the money that has been taken down to the counties under devolution. Because the same procurement system that's being used at the national, you know, level is the same that's in the counties. And how they corrupt that system is to benefit themselves and not the people. So I want this devolution to go to a point where, if it's a project that's being done, for example, let's pick a name like Kariako people. If it's 50 million, then let that 50 million go around to the people who live in Kariako. If it's a tender to build a structure, let it be taken by the people who are in Kariako. Let us develop the youth groups, the women groups, you know, to be able to start taking this tender, to be able now to see money coming down, trickling down to the last person on the ground. So I'll be very loud on that. I even have a platform that I've created called Conversation Center, where now we'll take it to the villages and engage with the youth. My passion is more on the youth side. The youth can lead these conversation centers to a point where they become like permanent public participation for us.
Civic education is very important.
It is.
Let's go now to your music career. How did that start?
Amazing, right? You didn't see that coming?
I just saw it on your page. I was like, I didn't know you had this talent. And you had this dreams.
So growing up, we grew up in church, the whole family. Even in our house where we used to live in the village, my dad had given land to the church. So the church was most of the time actually to my brothers, it was like a refuge, you know, place. Because my dad was very violent. And then once in a while when he comes home in this, you know, fujo and all that, we all run to church. That's where we used to hide. So we grew up in church. I started singing very early, you know, the choir singing and all that. But in the choir, there was no time that I thought like one day I'll be recording music. Yeah. I'll be the one standing on the platform, you know, worshiping God. That never occurred to me. Little did I know that that was hidden inside me. And the reason why it was hidden is because I was not taking time to find out what my purpose is. Yes. And during the lockdown, the first lockdown of Corona, when everybody else now was working from home, I took time to like reconnect with God. I took time to search deeper and to find out, Lord, I'm here. But what is the reason? Why am I here? What's the impact that I'm supposed to leave on earth? And it was, to me, I needed more than politics. I felt like there's a reason why I'm here, Lord. So during that time that I'm seeking God's direction, songs started flowing through my heart. Like the Holy Spirit, like it's like He opened something that I didn't even know existed. And songs came. And every time I'll sing like a new song, I'll record it in my phone. And I was like, there must be something new that God is creating in me. So I'll put the songs in my phone, and then later on I decided, now let me go to the studio and record the songs. What I've recorded so far, it's 5. Most of them are audios. There's only one video that I released recently. But the ones that have not been recorded, they're close to 50. Wow. It is just amazing. And the way it comes is just during my prayer moment. When I'm worshiping God, that's when I receive the songs. I cannot like sit down and write a song. I cannot. Everything else comes from the Holy Spirit. And then I just go to the studio, and I have very helpful people filled by the Holy Spirit. Now they help me now to put it into a full song. So I believe it's not about entertainment. It is not for me. I told God, if this is the path that we are going, then we have to move together to a point where, as a minister, let your people receive healing. Let your people, you know, receive all kind of miracles that they need. So that's where we're heading. And I'm so excited about this new chapter.
I've been enjoying your music. And just before we close, just give us at least 2 lines of one of your favorite songs.
One of my favorites will be this song that I sang, Exalting God. You know, Nani kama wewe, like, because there's nobody that can be compared to God. And maybe I can sing it.
Please, that's what we are all waiting for. Just before we close.
Ni nani wakufananishwa na wewe? Ni nani wakulinganishwa na wewe? Hakuna wakufananishwa na wewe. Hakuna wakulinganishwa na wewe. Ni nani? Ni nani? Hakuna. Hakuna. Mtengeneza majira, Mungu wa nyakati zote, wakufananishwa na wewe hakuna. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
We will. Joyce Lay. That is Joyce Lay. Subscribe to her YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your life and even your voice. One line that I got today is, she's the voice of the voiceless. And you do not need an office or even a name to lead people. That's my take for today. Remember, you can share with us or suggest for us guests that you would like to see on this show. You can send it to my Twitter handle, which is Cynthia Nyamai. Until next time, have a good week.